Hi, I'm an artist. My name is Isabel, and today I wanted to talk about an artist myth that many people believe, and I kind of thought myself for a while. This myth that I want to talk about today is that artists always make good art. And this is not true. Artists do not always make good art. There are times when artists make bad art, and that doesn't mean they're not an artist. I was having a heavy week. My whole family was, and our whole church family as well, as we grieved with another church family who was dealing with loss. And when heaviness comes to your life, and I feel it comes to everyone, and it comes in seasons or waves, it can be hard to have the energy and capacity to do the things you normally did. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're failing at them. It may just mean you need to approach it a little differently in that time because you don't have the emotional capacity or mental clarity to do what you would normally do with the skill level you would normally do it, if that makes any sense, okay? So I wanted to give an example of this. That week that I was talking about, I have been painting tiny art in this little sketchbook. So fun. I'm going to show you more about it later. But I wanted to paint a rose. So I had a spare piece of paper and I used gouache and I painted this rose. Now, I don't know your opinion on this rose, but to me, it's very lacking. It's awkward and I was very displeased with it. This was the best art I could do that day. I had no mental energy. I actually made a lot worse than this that day of artwork. And it was kind of discouraging to me. I know how to paint roses. I am capable of painting roses. But on this day, I wasn't. I wasn't at all. I did not have the mental ability to to it. I was exhausted. I was drained. I was emotionally heavy. And this was the best I could do. This is to me bad art. I'm sorry, but this to me is not great art. I would not sell this. I would not encourage you to copy this. This is lacking contrast. This is awkward shaping. This is the placement's fine. It's fine. The leaf placement is fine. The concept is fine, but the execution is very lacking. Now, just a day or two later, I went from this to this. Okay? Just compare. You can see this tiny one is so much better. There is so much more contrast. You can see it's an actual rose. It is executed with much more excellence. And this was not like, oh, I took a class and I went from this to this. It wasn't, oh, this was a year ago or 2 months ago and I've done this now. Or, oh, I watched a tutorial and I learned how to do it better. No, this was, I had nothing in me. And this was, I was feeling all right that day. And I wanted to show you this because sometimes we think that if you don't make great art every time you sit down to create something, whether it's big or small, or a sketch or a huge painting, whatever, if you don't make something awesome every time, you're not an artist. And that is not true at all. It's a myth. So get that out of your head. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit because in when I was in college, my freshman year, I really spent a lot of time with watercolors in my room. And like in between classes before bed, kind of wind down, kind of help decompress from the day and just spend time using the other side of my brain instead of the academic textbook learning side, but to use the more creative side. And so I would sit and watercolor paint. And there were so many days that I made a lot of paintings, a lot of little paintings that all of them were ugly. Like, honestly, they weren't good. And it frustrated me. I thought, well, I'm just not artistic. I can't be an artist. I'm just bad at this because each piece I make, or maybe it's that I made one good piece to 10 bad pieces. And it really discouraged me because I thought artists always make good art. They can sit down with whatever materials they have and they can make something beautiful. But I have discovered that's not true because of the reason I already talked about, the energy levels, the mental capacity levels, which is what this here demonstrates, right? But also the earlier on in your art journey, we'll say, the more you're going to have. I think it's a ratio, okay? Everybody has a ratio of good to bad art if they're a artist, okay? There's this many things that they create that are good and this many that are bad. And I think the younger in your art journey you are, not in age, but just the amount of time and years you've spent behind your paintbrush or your pencil, whatever your media is, the more heavy the bad art side of your ratio is going to be. The longer you spend on your art journey and with your media and getting comfortable with it, the smaller the bad art side will be and the bigger the good art side will be. Even so, I don't believe that there's an artist who always makes good art. I think there is at least going to be one or two bad arts for every however many good arts that they make. And I say all this because I want you to know, if you want to create art, it's okay to make bad art. We're going to talk about that in other videos, so please subscribe to this channel and we'll talk about how to make bad art with a purpose and how to make more good art, how to improve. We're going to talk about all this stuff in the future on this channel, and I've already talked some about it in previous videos, so go check them out. But I just want you to know that because you make more bad art than good art doesn't mean you can't be an artist. You can be. It just means either you don't have the emotional capacity or the physical or mental capacity at that moment to do the same skill level. It may mean you need more practice with your media. And it may just be this is your stage in your art journey, and all of that's fine. None of that takes away your ability to create or to be an artist. So, take from me, somebody who has a legal art business. I'm set up as an LLC. I can sell my art. I have sold my art. So I guess I could be called a professional artist. Even I don't always make good art, okay? And it's okay. It's good to recognize and think about why did that piece not turn out so good. It helped me so much when I realized this piece wasn't lacking because of a lack in my ability. It was lacking because of a lack in my capacity for the day, if that makes any sense. So, be encouraged. It's okay to make bad art. Have a good day. Bye.